recently watched the classic John Hughes movie 16 Candles for the first time. It was a movie that I've been wanting to watch for a while now, since The Breakfast Club is one of my all-time favorite movies. 16 Candles was John Hughes' first movie he directed, so I was interested in seeing how he got that career. I was enjoying it for the most part, but as it went on, there were some things that definitely seemed problematic.
A black guy.
A black Trans Am, a pink guy.
Now, these don't completely dominate the movie, but it is definitely noticeable when watching it in modern times. So I had to think about it. How bad is this film actually? Should it be put down for these issues or just left away? I wanted to examine these problematic elements closer. So, to begin with, issue of possible racism. The character of Long Duck Dong is one that people constantly point at as an example of something that would not fly today. And no, it wouldn't. The character is a blatant stereotype, played for comedy against an otherwise white cast. Add to that the fact that the actor, Getty Watanabe, is from a Japanese-American family and is playing a Chinese exchange student. I'm not going to say that this is not racist, because it definitely is, but I have the feeling that wasn't the intention. Some might argue that intent doesn't matter in a film, that it's the audience perception that matters, but I think that the intention of the filmmakers also need to be investigated. Watanabe said himself that he personally found the character funny. And one of the interesting things about the character is that he is funny despite being a stereotype. Another thing to consider is that Hughes' background before this film was mainly writing slightly raunchy films for National Lampoon, like their Class Reunion and their vacation movies. Seems like 16 Candles was him making that kind of movie, but dealing with teens in the suburbs. And part of the comedy of those old National Lampoon's movies was that they had very off-the-wall characters. And I think that's the spirit of the character that he was going for with Long Duck Dong. And there is the time period the movie was made, which in no way excuses it, but it does make it more understandable how the audiences of the time probably would have accepted it more than today's audience would. However, I personally found that there were bigger problems in 16 Candles than the character of Long Duck Dong. For example, Farmer Ted, sometimes known as the Geek, played by Anthony Michael Hall, is a huge creep throughout the whole movie. And yes, that's sort of the point of his character. He has a character arc where he kind of learns the things he's saying maybe isn't the best way to get a girl to like him. It still comes off as very creepy throughout the movie. Him and his friends are kind of supposed to be the outcasts, the creeps, the nerds. And the sad fact is that Farmer Ted is actually one of the cooler ones in the group. His character has a lot of development through the movie, and you see that maybe he isn't actually that bad of a person. In my mind, at least, Jake Ryan is the bigger creep. He sort of stalks Samantha through much of the movie, simply because he knows she wants to sleep with him. It's very much written that he is actually interested in Samantha because he wants a real relationship, not the kind of relationship he has with his current girlfriend, Carolyn. It's definitely supposed to be the thing where the jock character is not happy where he is socially, even though he has everything he should want. But something about it makes it seem like he's more interested in Samantha sexually than actually wanting to be in a relationship with her. Maybe that's just how I saw it. They do throw in some scenes where he explains his feelings about her and tries to make him more relatable. The problem with that scene is that scene ends with Jake giving his girlfriend to Farmer Ted to take home. I guess he expects that nothing weird is going to happen, but he's giving his passed out girlfriend to another guy to drive home. It just feels a little gross. Luckily, nothing seems to happen. Carolyn just believes that they had sex during the night, and she tells Farmer Ted that it was a fun night. Ted agrees, and nothing much more is said about it. But it's definitely one of the weirdest and problematic things in the movie when Jake just gives his girlfriend to some guy to drive home simply because he's not interested in the relationship they have anymore. Overall, I think the movie is what it is. John Hughes as a writer and director seems to always be subverting expectations. And I think with this movie, he wanted to subvert the expectations of what a teen comedy could be. and that the jock character was not a bully, that the nerd who was kind of creepy was actually a sweet guy, and so on. But overall, it didn't come off as well as it could have. I think he does it to much better effect in The Breakfast Club, although that movie too is not without problems.
Level with me. Do you slip her the hot beef injection?
However, 16 Candles is still definitely worth watching if you like John Hughes movies. And just take it with a grain of salt that it's not perfect, and take the fun out of it where you will. It's still a very funny movie.